Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the WandaVision Review Show here on MUSE TV. It is episode 8. We are one away from the final episode. I am here with, of course, Tatiana, even though I'm butchering that name.
I'm back. Hi, everyone.
So, let's get into it because this episode was actually a lot better than last week's episode, for sure.
Yes.
What did you think overall about the episode and with how they're telling the story now with one more episode to go?
I wish they would have told this story sooner because I feel like it's like all over the place now. You know, we kind of see like Agnes as Agatha, and to see how she was kind of already part of the main characters. And it's so weird how they kind of hinted it off because, it's WandaVision. So we know it's Wanda and Vision, the main characters. But to see, Agnes being part of it and seeing how she's like controlling also, like it was something like unreal. Like it's really crazy how everything was like going on.
Yeah. And I agree with you on that. I think this should have been, instead of having 6 and 7, the way it was, they should have edited it into a show. Because this episode was 46 minutes longer. 46 minutes long. Like, they should have put this into the show, and this should have been episode 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somewhere in the...
It's after episode 6. And this could have lead into what's going to happen on 7, 8, 9. Then we conclude it, and I would be happy. But, like, this is the episode I've been waiting for. It explains a lot. It still hasn't explained everything, which I'm still kind of like, how are they going to explain it in one episode? But at least it was something better than what it was before, and it had a little bit more into it, and it pulls you in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did. In the beginning, we kind of see, like, it goes towards Agatha being, like, the main character, and she's telling her story. But seeing, like, some of the parts, it kind of gets confusing. And, this is where, like, they do a good job of keeping the person intrigued. Because it keeps you like, okay, like, why is this happening? What's going on? It keeps you with more questions than answers again. But, being the last episodes, I'm scared to see how it's going to go. Hopefully, it's going to be a really good episode. And I hope they make it longer too.
Yeah. And I like the way it started too. Giving a little backstory to who Agatha is. I was actually shocked that they showed those images for Disney Plus, because you know how Disney Plus is. They don't want to piss off the mommies. No offense against mommies. I love my mom, but you know what I'm talking about. It's just, I was shocked that they showed it. They went that far.
Yeah, I was gonna say too, like, of all episodes, this is like the only episode, I was actually eating my breakfast and watching. I was like, oh great. Out of all episodes, I had to be during this. Like the images they were showing was like, oh, I had to stop eating for a few minutes.
But you know what? That's what I like. I like that when they do things like this, when they push the envelope, it shouldn't be all kid-friendly type of entertainment. I'm sorry. Disney is liked by adults as well. So it's like, I like that. I like the explanation. I like the way they went down the rabbit hole. But now that they're telling, but once again, it's like, why couldn't they do this sooner? These are explanations that should have been in the middle.
Yeah.
Which probably would have made me enjoy the first 2 episodes even more.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. It's just kind of like, but I love the story. I love learning about who Wanda is. I love learning about who Agatha is. I want to see more, even though being nerd, I already know them. But still, I want to see this in the MCU type of vision. And that's the thing. I just kind of like, why couldn't they do with it?
Yeah, that's something they could have done. How they were going like back and forth to like decades before and to like the Hex and then to the real world. They could have kind of put in like pieces of what was shown in this episode as like the backstory, I guess, for it to kind of make more sense of what was actually going on. But overall, I mean, it was a good episode.
Yeah.
Better than, the last ones we got.
Hmm.
But
Exactly.
I don't know. I think it's just I don't even know like what to say anymore because I'm like really hoping the next being the last episode. Like I'm like really anticipating it, but I kind of hate that it's going to be the last episode because these episodes they're kind of short and it feels like they're going like way too fast in each
Hmm.
episode and answers like they kind of lack on answering our questions.
Yeah. And then the Evan Peter, like Quicksilver,
Hmm.
Pietrov, and explaining that he was not really Pietrov and he was looking for another person because the body was buried in
Yeah.
another country full of holes. And she mentions that. And I was like, okay, so is that just a nod to the Fox universe? Because that's what it's now. It kind of like it messes like that one gives it a little more craziness because you're mentioning and you bring somebody from the Fox X-Men universe playing the same character, thinking that the multiverse is what came in and that she's pulling people from the multiverse and only to find out that it's just manipulation.
This episode,
So,
yeah, it was confusing that part too. And then,
mhm,
the way that we know Wanda, she's like part of like this world that she created, but
mhm,
they don't really show how Agatha played role in creating this world.
mhm. And I don't think Agatha had a role. I think it was all Wanda, and Agatha just kind of like was curious to see because she could absorb certain people's power, certain witches' power, and we saw that in the beginning. And
Mhm.
I think she wants that power,
Yeah.
and she was trying to figure out who is she. And then they don't explain chaos magic too much either. It's like that's another thing. There's a lot of it's good, but there's a lot of holes,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Is like and I think that's where this direction, the editing, the setup, and everything like that could have been better done. But as a standalone episode, this episode was definitely better than what we got the last 2 weeks.
I also liked how they kind of answered like how we saw that Wanda was obsessed with sitcoms
Hmm.
and how her world was based on those sitcoms. And
Yep.
we got our answers. I mean, our questions answered right there with the suitcase. That
Hmm.
was a really intriguing moment.
Yep. And that's the thing. Like they show that, and I'm like, in episode 5, that would have been perfect to explain everything. Why she's living in these different ages of years, decades of sitcoms. It would have been a perfect fit and fill.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people are loving it. A lot of people are not loving it, and find the same ideas and examples that we have. And it's like we're critiquing the show. We're not Disney apologists. We're not gonna if they do something wrong and it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and we're gonna say it. We're gonna be honest. And that's the thing. It's like this show. I'm really curious what they're gonna do next episode. I don't know if it's just gonna leave us on a cliffhanger. Is it gonna lead to Doctor Strange and that's the only thing it is? Is you have to wait a year till Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness to see what's gonna happen? There's too many things, too many unknowns, and I think we want these unknowns to be answered.
Yeah. Coming into like these episodes now, I was kind of like, I was loving WandaVision.
Hmm.
When they started with the whole filler scene, it started feeling like they were kind of going down. I
Hmm.
kind of didn't enjoy the rest of like the episodes that were coming in. But has there been any word that you know of like a season 2?
No, I haven't heard anything about a season 2 yet. If there is, the only one that I've heard that actually has already gotten a season 2 is Loki. Loki's gotten a season 2. I haven't heard about any of the other ones yet, so I don't know what they're gonna do or what if after the Multiverse of Madness is there an extra season or is this a one shot, a one off? Because they got other series that are coming out in the next year or two. So I don't know. But throughout this whole series and the end of this episode, we finally hear somebody finally call her the Scarlet Witch. So it's like, okay, which everybody already knew, but it's like the term, at least using the terminology, kind of gives reference to who she is.
Yeah, and that answered, okay, who she actually is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And that she's a witch,
mm-hmm.
and she had powers. And what stopped the bomb from going off in their apartment and saving her brother was the fact that she was using spells, which makes her a mutant. So mutants. So what they're kind of saying is that mutants are around. We just haven't seen them yet. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do and what they develop and how they push forward. And then to get to this episode, the extra credit scene. Did you see the extra credit scene?
I kind of did, but I kind of went back and watched it all over again.
Well, we finally get a vision of the White Vision. And to explain to everybody who doesn't know who White Vision is a rebuilt Vision, but unfortunately, with the original Vision, how he had emotions and sympathy and was more like human. White Vision does not have any emotion. Does not remember his past, nothing. He doesn't have any emotion at all. So he's just an android, pretty much, with all of Vision's powers.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to rewatch it then.
Yeah. So I don't even think you need to. I think we need to see what happens in episode 9.
Oh my gosh, yes.
To explain to it about it more. But it's just such a it leaves me for a hole. I'm looking forward to Falcon and the Winter Soldier now even more. But with this WandaVision, I'm hoping this next episode is an hour-long episode.
Yes.
I hope they're able to find a way to tie everything in and what's going on. What's up with chaos magic? Because we may know chaos magic from a comic book, but we don't know what it's for the MCU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it might be totally different.
Exactly. So, I mean, I don't know what else to really put onto this because I like this episode a lot. It told me a lot, but it leaves me with a lot of
questions. Yeah.
Yeah, and I shouldn't have questions by now. All my questions should start being answered.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. It goes back to wanting a longer episode, especially since this is going to be the end.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? It might be just going to be a continuation in another, another movie or another show that they might create. But we're going to have to see again. They keep us anticipating.
Exactly, and with the sitcom, you need to be with traditional sitcoms. There's a beginning, a middle, like a half season finale, and then a season finale. And with the season finale, I don't know what to expect, but I'm just hoping it's good, and I hope it ties everything up, and it leaves me satisfied.
Yes,
that's all I'm hoping for at this point to salvage it. But let's give it a grade. Only on the episode itself. What do you give it?
I would say a B-. Mm-hmm.
See, I'm with you on that one. I say B-. I think there's a lot of holes. I think there's some things that they didn't explain.
Yes.
That they could have done better with. And I think with another 15 minutes, they probably could have done that. But let's just say. But it's 6 and 7 didn't lead into what this episode is. So it makes it hard. Even I don't care if they say, but they mentioned Agatha Harkness is the one. It's it still doesn't explain anything.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that we know Agatha wasn't a part of it and it was all just Wanda's creation.
Yeah.
And they're still trying to figure out how Wanda created this, even though they showed it, but it still doesn't answer how did this happen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I don't know. It's been getting even more confusing all throughout, especially for those that haven't seen Marvel movies. It's probably even more confusing to us. But
exactly. But well, we got next week.
Yes,
we got next week. So we're almost at our 15-minute mark. We're gonna cut it short today. We're gonna be jumping on to Clubhouse at 4:30. So if you have a Clubhouse account, jump in. You can find us under MUSE TV Presents. and we're going to be talking about theme parks on that one. So we're going to have Tatis is going to come up with me, and we're going to talk about theme parks on Clubhouse. So if you want to visit us, go to Clubhouse. You can find us there. And Tatis, how can people find you so they can follow you on social media?
You can find me under Tatis Yolani. I left my username right there. So go ahead and follow us. Sure. Don't forget to also follow us on... Mike, that was your cue.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to point and find out where in the hell the thing is. You can find us at MUSE TV. You can find me at MUSE Mike on Instagram, Twitter, every place like that. But don't forget to follow us on MUSE TV. If you like this video, you want to see more, we have some great interviews up right now. Go through the MUSE channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you are always notified when we're going live and we're doing something, our new video is up. We have 3 interviews that we're going to be posting today. One is a great interview about the history of the Olympic Auditorium here in downtown Los Angeles. And it's something that definitely, if you haven't been or don't know about the history of the Olympic Auditorium, definitely watch it. It goes up tomorrow. Tatis, thank you so much for being a part of the show again today.
Thank you for having me.
And Malik Patterson, who wasn't here today, he will be back next week, and we'll talk WandaVision again. Maybe we might change the time too, and maybe we'll all go live at midnight at 12:30 when it's over and talk about it then. We haven't decided. We're still working on it, but we'll see you next time on our WandaVision review show.
Bye.